Hey everyone, welcome back to Tuesday's Consulting Success Livestream. It's 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. So excited to have you joining. Let's get right into it. All right, guys. So today what we're going to be talking about is paid traffic. Is this something that you should be using, considering as a consultant? If so, how should you use it? And what should you be looking for and considering? So a lot of people talk about paid traffic, right? Just to define what that means, it means that you pay money to either Google or Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever it might be, to place an ad in front of hopefully your ideal clients. And there's many goals that can come with that, right? One goal might be to have somebody fill in a form, right? So you generate a lead. Another goal might be to just drive people to your website, drive people to see your content, right? So a lot of different reasons for doing this. But one of the big challenges that consultants face when we think about paid traffic is that there's a very high cost to paid traffic. And I'm not talking only about dollars. I'm also talking about the learning curve. I'm talking about the challenge that most people actually find themselves in, which is they look for success with paid ads very quickly. And if you're doing that, if you're trying to see success with paid advertising very quickly, you'll often be disappointed. And so what we've found over many years of doing this is that most people will go into with the idea of, oh, I've seen somebody running advertisements. Maybe that's a strategy that I should use. And just out of interest, first of all, big welcome to all of you guys. Those of you who are currently using paid ads as a consultant, go ahead and just type in the comment box. Let me know that you're using them. Let me know that you're not using them. Are you using any form of paid advertisements right now to grow your consulting business? Type in the comment box or chat box that you see in front of you and just let me know, are you using paid ads in one form or another right now for your consulting business? Now, back to what I see consistently, which is that consultants will see advertisements in the marketplace. They will say to themselves, oh, I guess others are doing it. Maybe I should do that as well. And they'll throw some money at it. But in almost all cases, when you throw money at something without a real plan in place, without really knowing how things work, you tend to not see the results that you want because you're not approaching it the right way. Because when you do something new, there's going to be a learning curve. And therefore, most people give up, right? They'll throw a few $100s, maybe $1,000, let's say, at some ads. It doesn't really do much for them. And they go, okay, I guess this doesn't work. And they give up. Now, if that is your mindset around ads, then you will almost certainly not make it work. But I think the bigger question, right? The bigger question that we all need to ask ourselves as consultants, as what we like to call entrepreneurial consultants, right? Consultants are really thinking about building a business. The real question to ask ourselves is, are ads the right strategy for consultants, right? Is paid traffic the right strategy to grow a consulting business? Just because you see other people using paid ads doesn't mean that it's going to be the right thing for you. And in fact, if you ask yourself and kind of look at who truly is your ideal client, right? Is your ideal client the leader of a nonprofit? Is your ideal client a CEO of a Fortune 100 or 500 organization? Who is your ideal client? And that buyer, that ideal client will be different for each person. But the question you want to ask yourself is, does my ideal client actually hang out in these channels where I can put an ad in front of them effectively and cost effectively? And for many people, the answer to that will be no. Right? If you are working B2C, meaning that you are selling to consumers or you are selling to smaller businesses, then in almost all cases, yes, it can make sense, meaning that you at least have an opportunity to put an ad in front of an ideal client. But if you are trying to reach the CEO, CFO, an executive director of a nonprofit organization, they may or may not be hanging out on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn. Right? They may not be. And so just because you see somebody spending money or placing ads and you're going, oh, I've heard that they're building such a great business, doesn't mean that it's actually going to work for your business. So step number one is just to figure out, are my ideal clients actually spending time on these platforms that I want to reach them on? If they are, then it might make sense. And if they are, then you want to go into it with a long-term mindset. If you have a very small budget, and just can spend a few $100s or so, and after that you're done, then it's probably not going to make sense for you to go into paid advertising right away. You want to leverage other areas, other steps to help you to build more pipeline, to build more lead flow, to have more conversations, what we call the network reactivation campaign. So anyone in our Clarity program knows We provide scripts and templates to actually help you to reactivate your network as a way. The first thing you should always do to generate more conversations. The second thing then is a new client prospecting campaign, which is about sending emails and other types of messages and just reaching out to your ideal clients in a way that you're providing value and building relationships. These are things that really don't cost you anything. I mean, very, very little in terms of dollars spent to be able to do these things, yet they can generate significant number of conversations. And so that's almost always a better place to start if you're a consultant, right? If you're selling to other organizations, might be a for-profit or a non-profit, that's typically where you want to start before you start putting money into ads. So let me just check out here. I'm seeing that several of you are saying, all right, hey, Scott, great to see you. You're not using, but very interested in this topic. Yeah, definitely. There's an opportunity. There's a place for this. Ron, great to see you. Paul, great to have you here. Patrick, great to see you as well. Keith, Vincente, Salem, welcome everyone. It looks like most people are not using ads, which is not surprising, right? Most consultants don't use ads, but let me tell you, there is a place for them. And where I would suggest that if you're thinking about paid advertising, one of the best uses of paid ads is not the typical, hey, click a link, go to a forum, watch this webinar, or get this, whatever. That stuff can work. But another really great way is more as what we call confirmational marketing, right? More as a way to put valuable content in front of your ideal clients. And you might still capture their email address at some point through that process, but you're not using it necessarily as a sales tool. You're using it more as a branding tool, more as a way to put, again, valuable content that positions you as an authority and expert in front of your ideal clients. But that all is based on that your ideal clients are actually spending time on these channels. Now, what I want to share with you guys that I think is even more important is that there's actually a more important step here. And this is the reason why so many people make mistakes on their marketing, why so many people feel like they're spinning their wheels on marketing. How many of you here right now have felt at one time or another that you have tried a lot of different things when it comes to marketing? You're following what you're reading in books or hearing from different people, but you're not seeing it click. You're not getting the results or response that you want. Just type in the chat box. I'd be very interested to know how many of you have felt that. Maybe you're feeling that right now or have felt that at one point in the past. Just type that in and let me know in the chat box or comment box there. But over the last 13 years of working with consultants, what we consistently hear from people is, hey, I'm trying all these things, but my marketing isn't working for me. I'm not really generating many leads. Most of my business just comes from referrals or my network, but I don't really have a strong pipeline. I don't really have a lot of lead flow. I don't have consistency. And one of the most common reasons for that has to do with a foundation, right? Do you have the right foundation in your business? And so when people say to me, Michael, my marketing isn't working, and they tell me what they're doing, and we have a conversation around it, in 9 times out of 10, it's not just the marketing. It's the foundation that needs to come before the marketing. So what I thought I'd do today, everyone, if you'd all like, just go ahead and let me know if you would, but I want to break down for you the 3 elements that are actually kind of key for you to be able to have the right foundation in place. Because if you don't have the right foundation, if you don't have these 3 elements in place, what will almost always happen is that you can spend a lot of money on all different types of marketing, whether it's paid ads or even organic content creation. You can spend money on outreach campaigns, LinkedIn, all this different kind of stuff. You can do all that, but if you don't have these 3 key elements in your foundation, your marketing typically won't work for you. And if we flip that over, once you have these 3 in your foundation, then you can actually start to see your marketing really take off. So who here would like me to go over those 3 elements? And I'll just break them down for you all if you guys want. Let me just see. I just want to see if people are typing in the chat box. Let me know. Okay, Paul's saying break it down. Scott's saying, yeah, felt that way. Hey, Caleb, great to see you. All right, let's go ahead. I'm going to break this down for you guys. Excuse me 1 second here. So let's go over the 3 elements to make the most of your marketing. Let me just pull over the whiteboard here. All right, so inevitably, those who are saying my marketing, let me get that back in focus. Let me see. Sorry, guys. Let me just try and get that camera back in focus. There we go. All right. Almost there. All right. So almost always, right, when people say my marketing isn't working, it's because they don't have these 3 elements. So here are the 3 elements that you want to have before you do any paid advertising, before you even really think about doing too much marketing. So number 1, right, for some of you, no surprise, because I know some of you've been in our world for quite some time. We work together, which is fantastic. So great to see you guys. So number 1, which is really critical, is what we call ideal client All right, so ideal client clarity. Now, this simply refers to that you know exactly who your ideal client is, right? If you don't know who your ideal client is, then how can you actually target them effectively, right? Just think about that for a moment. If you're spending a lot of time right now doing marketing, but you're not actually clear on who your ideal clients are, then you're typically going to be wasting a lot of time, right? You're going to be wasting a lot of resources. You're going to be splitting yourself across multiple different types of channels or segments. Or this takes us to number two, you're not going to have a message that really resonates and gets the attention and interest of your ideal clients. And so the second element, oops. So the second element, guys, is what we call, whoops, it's a magnetic message. So a magnetic message refers to the message that gets the attention and interest of your ideal clients, right? If I want to reach out to an ideal client, let's say I'm targeting an executive director of a nonprofit, and they work, let's say, in the cancer space. Well, if I work with organizations that are in the cancer space, right, that's my ideal client. If I specifically target and say, we help executive directors of nonprofits that specialize or that work, in the areas of cancer, right away, that would connect with that executive director because I'm speaking to them. But if I just said, yeah, we help nonprofits, it's okay, but it doesn't have the same level of specificity, right? It doesn't connect in the same way. What's even worse is that some people won't even say that they work with nonprofits, or that they work with manufacturing companies, or that they work with SaaS startups, right? They just say, oh yeah, we help leaders, or we help business owners, or we help whatever. And so it's so general that not only does it really make it difficult then for you to find and to identify your ideal client, but it also makes it really challenging, because if you're not clear on who your ideal client is, what's going to happen is you're not able to actually develop a message that will speak to that ideal client. Because if you don't know who your ideal client is, how can you actually say who they are in a message, right? And these two are actually probably the most kind of like the biggest culprits when we talk about why marketing doesn't work for people. It's because they're not clear on who their ideal client is, and they don't have a message that is speaking directly to their client. And so if we come back to the big theme for today, which is ads, right? Paid traffic, paid ads. One of the most common reasons why people don't see these things working for them is because their ads, their messaging is too general. It's too broad. It's not speaking to anybody. And you got to remember, you got to put yourself in the position always of your ideal client. And look at when you hop onto LinkedIn, like whatever, I can see most of you right now, Robert, Keith, Patrick, Ron, Caleb, Scott, you guys are on LinkedIn right now. Paul, you are on YouTube right now, it looks like. I don't see anyone on Facebook just yet. But right, that's where you are. So look around you right now, and you're going to be seeing a lot of different things potentially vying for your attention. Maybe you just got zoomed on this live stream right now, which I appreciate. Thumbs up to you guys if you're just focused on this. But typically when you log into these platforms, you have a lot of different messages and ads and posts and things vying for your attention. And so an ad will almost never work if it's general, because it's not going to speak directly to you, right? It's not going to be like looking right at you right now. So I'm staring at the camera right now. Like it's not speaking to you. It's just out there. And if something doesn't connect with you right away, then it's not going to resonate with you. It's not going to get your attention. It's not going to get your interest. It's not going to feel like it's specifically for you, which means that you just move on. You go about your day. But when you're very clear about, number one, who your ideal client is, what your message is, right? Now you can actually start to speak to that person. You can start to really get their attention and their interest. Now, the third thing, right? So there's three. Whoops. All right. So the third is what we call strategic offers. Strategic offers simply refers to developing, really taking all of your years of experience and expertise and figuring out how to best package it, position it, place value on it, and price it in a way that aligns with what your ideal clients want. So often, right, people will say that it's hard to sell or they're uncomfortable around it. Well, if you really want to grow your business, if you really want to achieve, that next level of success, then you don't actually need to think about sales so much. What you want to be thinking about is, how do you simply identify what your ideal clients truly want to buy? What are their number one problems, right? What are their pain points? What are they actively looking for a solution to? And then how can you take your years of experience and expertise, your skills, your knowledge, your know-how, right? Your proven track record of success. How do you take all that, And how do you package it and position it and price it, have a pricing strategy around it, right? And then really offer it to your ideal client so that they can just simply say yes. And that's why when people say, well, I'm uncomfortable around sales, it almost always means that they haven't taken the time to identify their ideal clients. They haven't taken the time to go through the magnetic message process to identify the pain points that their ideal clients are having and the goals and desires that they have. Because when you do that, it actually becomes pretty easy. It's, it still takes time, right? There's still a process, but it's not as challenging to then identify what is the actual product or service that your ideal client wants, and that they're going to be very willing to hand over their money, right? They'll be willing to make an investment because they see that this is the solution to their problem or will help them to get to where they want to. It'll help to accelerate their success. Sorry, guys, the camera's going in and out there. See if we can, there we go. So these are the three things, right? If you think about paid traffic, the first thing I would say to you here, I just want to kind of recap. Number one is don't jump into paid traffic unless you've identified, first of all, that your ideal clients are actually on those platforms. There's many other ways to reach ideal clients. There's many other forms of marketing that can work exceptionally well for consultants. I can tell you that probably 80%, if not 90% of the consultants that we work with and know, and these are people, some who are earlier stage, doing maybe getting started or doing $250,000. Others are doing $500,000, $1 million, 3 million and beyond. 80-90% of these people are not running paid ads. It doesn't mean that they can't. It just means that they're able to get to those levels without running paid ads. So the number one question for you is just, are your ideal clients on the platforms that you could effectively and try to effectively reach them through paid ads? If they're not, then don't spend your time there. There's many other ways to do marketing to reach ideal clients, executives, decision makers without using paid ads. Now, if you are using paid ads, the second part of this is going with a long-term mindset. Don't go in with the idea of, I'm going to try it for a month and see how it works, right? If you just hand things over to an advertising agency or a paid traffic agency or something along those lines, and they don't understand your marketplace, they don't understand your business, if you don't have clarity around your ideal client, if you don't have clarity around your magnetic message, it's very unlikely that you or they will be able to see results in the short term, right? Even if you do have these, it's still going to typically take a period of 60, 90 days, sometimes longer, to really get things running. And so you want to make sure that you're in a position where you can make that level of investment consistently and set your expectations. But the biggest thing that I really want to share here with all of you today is that when you think about your marketing, the theme for today is really paid traffic. And I want to point that out because I see a lot of people talk about paid traffic because they see other people doing it and they think, oh yeah, I need to learn how to do Facebook ads. I have a consulting business and I should be doing Facebook ads, or I should be doing Google ads or Instagram or whatever it might be. Well, the reality is that you probably don't. It doesn't mean you can't. It doesn't mean that it's not going to be helpful for you. But in most cases, you don't actually need to run paid ads to have a very successful, 7-figure consulting business. In fact, even most 8-figure consulting businesses aren't doing much in the paid advertising channels because they don't need to. Again, I'm not trying to bash paid ads. We run ads, but it's because we know exactly who our ideal client is. We have a message, right? We've gone through this process. We've done this over the last 13 years. We really honed things in. But what I'm trying to say is it's not the place to start, that you can really start to see progress in your business without doing that. The bigger thing, though, that I want to share with you all here today, the real principle, the core for success here of a consulting business, is that before you do any type of marketing, you really want to go through these three things. You really want to understand who is your ideal client. What is the message that will get their attention and interest and have them wanting to reach out to you to engage in a conversation? And how do you package, position, place value on, and price all of your years of experience and expertise in a way that will resonate and align with your ideal clients? So you don't actually need to sell. You don't need to try and persuade and cajole and do all these things that you don't necessarily feel good about. You could just simply have a meaningful, deep conversation and ensure that what you're offering is the right fit for that person, and then make the offer and let them know, here's what we have. And if you do that, most people if you've gone through this process, most people will say, yes, like that sounds really good. What are the next steps? So I'm happy to open up here for questions, guys. A few quick housekeeping things, which is that if anyone here, if you're thinking, yeah, I'd actually like some help to go through this process, I'd actually like some help to accelerate the success of my consulting business. I want help to be more strategic. I want to get a marketing system in place. I want help to build a pipeline, improve my lead flow, to create more structure and kind of have a better strategy around my offerings, around my pricing, to have better messaging, to get clarity on my ideal client. Then go to consultingsuccess.com/coaching, because that's what we do all day, every day. We've helped over 600 consultants add 6 and even 7 figures to their annual revenues, taking them through the Consulting Success Framework process. So you can just go to consultingsuccess.com/coaching. Now, the other thing I want to mention as well is I love getting questions from you guys. So if you want to submit a question, if there's a topic that you want me to explore on an upcoming live stream, just go ahead to consultingsuccess.com/stream, STREAM. And if you do that, you can just submit your question and we'll try and bring it up for an upcoming live stream. I do this every Tuesday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Love having you guys on, love getting questions as well. So what I'd like to do is just open this up. If anyone does have questions for today, anything that is top of mind regarding paid traffic, regarding these 3 steps, regarding marketing in general, just go ahead. I'll hang out here. I know it takes a minute sometimes to see what you type in on my side in StreamYard here, which is what I'm using. Just type it in the comment box, chat box, whatever you guys see in front of you. And so great to see you, Scott, Keith, Caleb there, Ron, Patrick, Robert, Paul. Did I miss anybody else? Vincente. So thank you guys all for jumping on and typing in. If you are hanging out and you haven't yet said hi, please go ahead. Let me know where you're at right now in the world. And if you have any questions regarding marketing or paid traffic to grow and build your consulting business. Yeah, so Keith, you're saying here, very interested in getting a methodology that will work. Yeah, I'd encourage you, reach out if you want, Keith. We have a lot of free resources on consultingsuccess.com as well. But if you go over to consultingsuccess.com/coaching, you can learn more about the framework and how we've helped over 600 consultants with a proven methodology and process to really grow their consulting businesses. See, any other questions here? Go ahead and type in the chat box, guys. If you do have a question, happy to take them and spend a few more minutes with you all. Vincente, okay. Zaragoza, Spain. Great to have you on. Robert, okay, Robert, I'm not actually clear on your question there. Let me know if you can clarify. Anyone else have any questions for today's live stream? Who else is on here that hasn't yet said hi? Always love seeing you guys, so just type your name or just say hi in the chat box there. Ron in San Francisco, good stuff. Yeah, see all these places and just looking to get forward back to traveling. It's been a little while. So, all right, listen, guys, if there's no questions, we can wrap up here for today. I just wanted to see if anyone did have any questions or feedback, anything that's top of mind. We got KL, Scott in Atlanta. Keith, okay, good stuff, Keith. I hope things are going well for you in Atlanta. Okay, Ron, you're asking what are some examples of strategic offers? So, Ron, there's many different ways to think about strategic offers, right? It's all about identifying, again, who is your ideal client? What are the problems they have? What are the goals, desires that they have as well? What are your, what's your experience? What are your strengths? What do you want to be doing? What do you want your business to look like? What's the business model that you're going after? And then figuring out how do you combine all those elements so that you're able to provide a solution and real value and a real outcome to what your ideal clients, desire. So you're fulfilling their desire. At the same time, you're structuring your offerings so that they're aligning with what's important to you, with what you want to have in your business, right? So as an example, some people will let's say could be even before COVID, could be even now. The idea is I just travel around, right, delivering workshops for clients, but deep down inside, they don't actually enjoy traveling. That's not a strategic offer. That's an offering, but it's not strategic because it doesn't align with what you really want. And so the idea is that you want to think about what's meaningful for you and how do you then take what your ideal clients want, right, and what they need, and how do you package that, position that, place value on it, and price that in a way that will align with what they want, but also aligns with what you want. The other part of this that is really critical is leverage, right? One of the big things when we talk about price and we talk about offerings is that identifying kind of the intersection or the connection between making sure that the client gets a great result, but also that what you're providing is leveraged. So that means that you're able to earn more while doing less. And that could relate to productization. That could relate to kind of return on investment, like ROI or value fees, a lot of different ways to think about it. So Ron, hope that helps. But if you want to chat further on that, just reach out. You feel free to shoot over an email, info@consultingsuccess.com. Or if you want to learn more about the Clarity Coaching Program and the Consulting Success Framework, because we do a lot with clients around strategic offers, just go to consultingsuccess.com/coaching and you can see all the information there. So hope that helps, Ron. Happy to kind of go through some more specifics when I know your situation, but I hope that gives you some thoughts there. Hey, Renee, great to see you. We got Diane as well in the Cayman Islands. We have Cynthia in Oregon, Ron, okay, good. Glad that helps, Ron. Appreciate the thumbs up there. And yeah, feel free to reach out to definitely. I'd love to learn more about what you're working on and see how we can support you on that. Guys and gals, any other questions for today regarding the 3 kind of steps here to really make sure you have the foundation before you do marketing, right? That's for those of you that are just joining right now and you missed the first 25 minutes or so, what the big theme here, when we talk about paid advertising and when it makes sense and when it doesn't make sense for you to do it as a consultant, because it's very different than if you're not a consultant, right? If you're serving consumers, very different situation. But if you're a consultant, that's why you want to be careful when you're trying to get marketing advice from people who, even if they have successful businesses, sometimes the approach that people are using to reach consumers is not going to be the same approach that you're going to be using as a consultant. So really important that you, first of all, narrow in on that. But then the other big thing is that, kind of, again, for those of you just jumping on, the theme is that before you think about doing marketing, right, you want to make sure that you have clarity on these 3 elements, which create the foundation for a successful consulting business. Of course, there's many other elements to a successful consulting business, but these 3 are core: ideal client clarity, magnetic message, strategic offers. Paul, okay, we got Paul in the UK. Good evening there, Paul. Great to have you with us. We got John. Hey, John, great to see you. Okay, Keith saying, Robert, what one needs to use. Yeah, all right, so Keith's just sharing here some thoughts. He's saying, yeah, what one needs to do is try to offer more value for money and extra offerings they need in difficult times. It's not easy. Okay, I think you're just responding there to the previous question that came in, so thanks for that, Keith. All right. Okay, Keith, yeah, in Abu Dhabi, 9:30 in the evening. Great to have you joining us. Cynthia, what makes a magnetic message? Currently, I am B2C. Okay, so what makes a message magnetic is that it gets the attention and interest of your ideal clients, right? That's the concept. That's why we call it a magnetic message, because it's magnetic. It pulls you in, right? It pulls your ideal client in. And I would go as far as saying that the approach can work both for B2B and B2C. There's 3 elements in a magnetic message that we teach. The first is, who are your ideal clients? So 3 W's, right? Who, what, and why. So number 1, who is your ideal client? Number 2, what are the problems they have and what are the results that they want? And then number 3, why, meaning why you, what makes you different? Those 3 elements should be present for a really compelling magnetic message. And that's important to say who your ideal client is, right? The who part, so that they know you're speaking to them, right? Gets their attention. Then what are their problems and what results do they desire? Also very important, because when you know what their problems are, then if you say, hey, so I'll take the example of Keith in Abu Dhabi. If I say, if you're a consultant in Abu Dhabi, boom, right away, I would get Keith's attention because he's a consultant in Abu Dhabi, if that's the situation, Keith. But if I know what Keith's issues are, and I don't, but let's just say, here's an issue that I think that Keith might have. And if it was an issue for him, right, if he was an ideal client and that resonated with him, right away, now I have his attention because I've hit on a problem or a result or a goal that is top of mind for him. So that's the what part. And then the why is differentiating you between others. So why me? Why you when you're talking to your ideal clients? So many people there's so much noise in the marketplace that if you don't specify why you, then it's hard for people to typically see, right, that distinction, that differentiation, and to know what makes you different from all the other consultants or from all the other, providers, agencies, whatever it might be, in my marketplace. And so the why part is an area that a lot of people don't use, but they should use. We did a session on this, a live stream on this a few weeks back, guys. Feel free to check that out or go to consultingsuccess.com. We have a lot of resources to help you with the magnetic messaging process, as well as these other 3 here. All right, we got Stacy as well from Ashburn, VA. Welcome, Stacy. Great to have you joining. Looks like you're logging in from YouTube there, guys. So please go ahead, hit the like button, the follow button, the subscribe button, hit the little bell if you're on YouTube so you'll get notified when we launch new content, consistently putting out new videos, best practices. We're offering more and more workshops as well, guys. Just got a lot going on. So you'll get notified. You'll be the first to kind of see as long as you hit the follow or subscribe button there, the little bell for the alerts or whatever you got going on. Appreciate whoever that put the thumbs up there. I'm seeing that on my screen as well. So I always appreciate the likes, guys. The more likes we get, the more comments we get, the more that the algorithms on these channels will show this to other people. And that's what really is meaningful for me, because that's why I do this every Tuesday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, is to hopefully help inspire and to share best practices with all of you that are building consulting businesses to help you to take it to the next level. Whether you're just getting started, whether you've made your first 6 figures, you're at 7 figures or beyond. What I want to share with you here are the best practices that will allow you to do that in a way that's accelerated, where you can avoid common mistakes but really just also enjoy the process and get a lot more fulfillment from it and be more successful overall. So we'll wrap up here for today, guys. Again, thank you all so much. For those of you that want some help with this and what we talked about with your marketing to build a pipeline, again, go over to consultingsuccess.com/coaching. You can learn about the Consulting Success Framework and see testimonials and case studies and videos and results from over 600 consultants that have gone through the Clarity Coaching process. And for those of you that want to submit a question for next week's live stream, just head on over to consultingsuccess.com/stream, STREAM, and submit your question there. Again, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, every Tuesday. Guys and gals, thanks so much for hopping on here today. Appreciate all the likes, all the comments, all the interaction and engagement. It means a lot to me. So have a wonderful rest of the day. And if you have any questions, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I always ask, put a little note when you're sending that connection request. Otherwise, I typically won't accept it if I don't know who you are. So I do appreciate getting that little personal note. All right, guys, have a wonderful day or evening. Make it a great week, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.